Welcome to another episode of Data Gurus. I'm so excited to introduce Vittorio Raimondi, who is the CEO and founder of Foresight Strategy. Welcome, Vittorio.
Nice to talk to you, Sima. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I'm so glad we connected. You have a very interesting business that you've kind of spent the last 13 years working on, and I want to talk about that. But before we do that, can you just give me a little bit of a brief background as to how you got here today?
Yes, my background is a little bit different. I grew up in Sicily, southern
Mhm.
Italy, eh, in a family business. I quickly graduated from university and joined the company, became a CPA before joining the company, but the business was in freight forwarding, so a completely different industry. But towards the end of my 20s, I the hard decision to make a break and move into something that I felt more inspiring. And so I went up to a master's degree in Norway and I studied a discipline called system dynamics, which is modeling. Um, I joined the master's in system dynamics in Norway. And
Okay.
system dynamics is a discipline that allows to understand nonlinearities and to model the world and resources around us and understand how things sometimes behave in a non-linear way, and was part of a group that find applications of these methodologies to business. And so that's how I started my consulting career in London. And
Okay.
then 8, 10 years after, I moved to the States for personal reasons. I started my own business because I felt there was an opportunity to continue to apply this methodology and the philosophy behind it in a much more powerful way and to build something that I felt was different from the analytics world that I have seen.
So, Victorio, I wanted to understand, just to give people a sense of an idea of what truly is system dynamics. Like, how is it different in terms of traditional analytics? Just high level overview would be really helpful.
System dynamics is a methodology that was invented in the 60s, but then with the support of computer and higher processing capacity has become much more powerful. And it's been used to understand natural resources, has been used in epidemiology. And
Yeah.
this, if you think of COVID, how an epidemic starts and
Hmm.
people that are unaffected by the condition that they get infected, there is a period of time in which they are infectious and the speed at which they probability of meeting others and all of that. And so you can actually model non-linearities. You think about the tipping point in
Got
epidemic.
it.
Same happens with climate change and many other things. Well, the same you observe in business when you launch a new product. There is an S-shaped curve. What's
Yeah.
behind that non-linearity? And system dynamics allows to uh, model those things, understanding how consumers flow from one stage to another, from being unaware of a brand to being
Hmm.
loyal users or ambassadors. And so a lot of the work we do has to do with understand, mapping a brand consumers into different groups and understanding how they transition through the system, the brand system,
Got
from
it.
where to being intense users, and identify what we call consumer growth levers, provide a point
Okay.
of view of where they need to focus for growth
Yep.
before focusing on how do you win in that space.
Got it.
Now, what we call the discipline of growth,
Mm.
where to play and how to win. And so, do you need to focus on recruiting new consumers? Do you
Hmm.
win them over from competitors? Do you need to focus on building maybe weekly habits or even daily habits? Do you
Hmm.
need to focus on retaining your consumers? And so on and so forth. There's several different ways you can think about growth levers depending on the industry.
Very interesting. And I would imagine the time horizon in that analysis or point of view that you develop is longer than just, hey, is somebody aware of my ad? Um, and are they considering it? But really looking at a longer time horizon to understand who do you focus on for growth? Because getting one customer buy your product one time, that's one thing, but getting them to buy it and over again as a loyal user is a longer time frame, I would imagine.
For sure. No, we oftentimes use with longitudinal databases
Mhm.
that, and we use the word longitudinal with care. It's not just about historical trends, but also
Right.
ideally the ability to follow consumers year
Yes.
on year, understand the switching habits and all of that. Not.
Yep. So you and you have very reputable portfolio of clients that you've worked with that really you go deep on understanding some of the critical business challenges they might face. Can you just share a little bit some examples of when do clients engage you? What kinds of questions are they asking you to solve?
Oftentimes, what triggers them to reach out to us is the need for more of a holistic understanding of their
Mhm.
brand. And big clients like Hewlett Packard, Coca-Cola, and Kimberly Clark, they have the need to adopt a system that provides clarity and
Mm,
confidence in their management, know exactly where to play and how to win. And that's where we come in because we look at all their data and together with them, we come up with a way of thinking about their
mhm.
brand, understanding where consumers are in their journey relative to the brand, and provide analytics to uh, support decisions on where to focus, on what consumers to target. And that's the key to strong strategies because then you
Mhm.
can make choices based on how to win those consumers as opposed to try to do everything for everyone.
Got it. And what I find really interesting and I think also helpful for a client is that you're data agnostic. Um, you look at the data the client has. I would imagine if you need to go collect more data, you do that as well. But it's really first and foremost what's the question the business is asking, and then how do I determine which data assets to leverage? Um, can you give a sense of how much data clients are sitting on? I mean, we all talk about it, but are are you looking at finance data? Are you looking at point of sale data? Are you like website traffic? How much data are you working with within the client organization?
Yeah, first of all, yes, it's true. We're data agnostic, and that sometimes it's what we always say this is our weakness, but our strength as well.
Yeah.
We don't count for clients with proprietary data that we can leverage to help them. This is at times a selling point for some
Mhm.
companies. We don't have that. So, our only way to grow is to continue to push the boundaries of what you can do with data and be good at listening at the client's question and be good at understanding what data will be
Mhm.
best to support. We generally, a rule is we look for data that provides a holistic view. So no, oftentimes we don't even go down to CRM data or
Okay.
website traffic data because that is good at a more tactical
Yeah.
level, but it does not provide an economically correct picture of the brand. And what I mean with that, you need to understand consumers that are not consuming your using your brand
Right.
and their relationship with competitor brands and all that, which you oftentimes miss when you're looking at CRM and or website traffic. So outside of that, we would use first of all, it's true we integrated with primary research where needed, but
Okay.
oftentimes our clients the first phase is always to do a data diagnostic,
Yeah.
and we will look at their primary research
Mm.
if they're running some tracker of
Okay.
merge, obvious for sure, point of sale. A point of sale is great because it's for the whole market, but then we recalibrate it with internal data,
Mm.
with their financial data, and, and then we are open to look. Oftentimes, we look also at a new studies that they might
Yep.
have run the year before or so that provide a snapshot picture, but allow us to get deeper into certain things. So
I I always find you know, first of all, I think data is like candy. It's incredibly powerful. And people like to if you're data oriented, it's nice to consume it and make sense of it. My understanding is in many clients, these data repositories sit in multiple divisions, like, and the finance area and, getting all the historical research or tracker data, do you find it hard to coordinate within the client to get these different data sets? Or is it pretty seamless, in general to get the different data sets within the client?
Definitely not easy.
Yeah.
Getting relatively easier. All our clients are moving towards trying to centralize their data,
Yeah.
hub, and all of that, but that's still more of a goal than a reality.
Yeah.
And so you need to really know how to navigate different stakeholders, different data holders, uh, and make sure you're not and you do that by not overstepping
Sure.
bounds and guardrails.
Yeah. Well, you must be doing a really good job doing that, navigating that, 'cause, your active clients seem to really value what you're doing, and
I
they
think
s
what really helps in that is that when we ask for data, there is a purpose. And
Sure.
we know where it resides and what purpose it will serve.
Yep.
So building the business case will allow to open up doors. I
Right.
don't know, it's pretty hard to open. I had one client uh, side with us once, their internal team, and saying, give us a business reason for not sharing this data.
Interesting. Very interesting. Um, so let's talk a little bit, when we were talking offline, we were talking about the research industry and where we're seeing a little bit of two anchors, right? There's the companies that are doing primary research and trying to be more consultative, higher priced engagements, probably more strategic questions that they're answering. And then there is a layer or a segment of the industry that's really more tech enabled and driving fast and agile research. When we were talking about it, you said, I'm not really part of the research industry. You consider yourself more on the management consulting side, or I don't want to put words in your mouth, but tell me, are you seeing more research companies competing with you when you're talking about as they try to move up the value chain with clients?
Yes, we definitely see that happening. In fact, we find ourselves in a spot that is between the large research companies, Cantor, Ipsos, and so on and so forth. They're trying to go build
Yeah.
up and provide consulting services, and the big BCG, Bay,
Mhm.
McKinsey. And we are in between. We don't
Okay.
offer our own data uh, yet, and we don't have the scale that a company like McKinsey can offer.
Have you seen that trend over time, or has it always been that way?
I like to say it's already been 20 years that the research industry has realized that perhaps back then it wasn't a matter of survival, it
Yeah.
was more of a matter of profitability. Like
Sure.
they realized that the fees and there is more profits if you're able to add value to their clients through
Sure.
storytelling and data interpretation and all that. Now I think it is a matter of survival.
Mhm. Yeah. Interesting, and as you rightly said prior, that's a tough pivot. It's a hard pivot from going from a traditional research company to being more analytical and, strategic in terms of adding value. What I'm curious, what is the hardest part that you see in being able to make that shift?
From the outside, I think one of the problems is it starts with the hiring and the people that
Mhm.
are hired. They're researchers. They're wired to come up with good questions and then research them, and they're very proficient, very
Right.
good at collecting data in the right way through the right channels. But they're not necessarily as good as I wouldn't say storytellers. I think that would be unfair.
Mhm.
But definitely connecting the dots between the data that they are collecting and other data sources and creating a bigger story that
Yeah.
is really informed by multiple data points.
So using not just the primary data they're collecting, but also connecting it to the other data sources.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
skill that requires a lot of active listening,
Mm.
and also the ability to really think creatively about.
Right.
And we like to think of us as we are creatives with an analytical mind.
I like that.
The creativity such as and curiosity is a big part of
Yeah.
what it takes to succeed in our call.
Creativity, did you say creativity or curiosity or both?
Both of them, both
Yeah.
of them. Curiosity, never repeat the same thing over and over. Ask yourself why you're doing this,
Yeah.
and ask questions. But creative too,
Mhm.
because the solutions that we offer to our clients are oftentimes out of the box. They push the boundaries. Oh, we never thought about teaching together the data in this way,
Right.
and now all of a sudden it provides insight that alone didn't
You
before.
wouldn't have seen before.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I think, just a small tangent, I really think curiosity is one of the critical skills that, seems to be declining in some ways. It's like the need to be able to ask a question and be curious and not be nervous to feel embarrassed if you don't know the answer really seems to be, I don't know, I feel like not enough people are asking those questions. I don't know what your perspective is. You probably work with so many curious people all day. You don't see it, but I'd be curious if you see any trends.
No, I do see that. We do struggle to hire talent that is a good fit for what we're trying to deliver. I
Yeah.
feel a lot of the candidates that look great on paper, they come with incredible knowledge,
Mm,
and many fit into a, a category of people that are good at displaying data, summarizing data, if you like, perhaps definitely not telling stories, not come up with solutions in a
yeah.
creative way. So they come with knowledge
Mm,
versus skills,
yeah.
problem solving skills.
Yeah.
I feel possibly that's an hypothesis that the educational system we have in the States is also very much knowledge based and
Mm.
doesn't really do enough of putting people in a position to solve problems.
That's a great point. That's a great point. That's another podcast, but that's a great point.
We have to participate in that podcast. Have a strong point of view.
Ah, I'm curious. I would be, remiss not to ask you about your thesis on AI and how it might impact the work you do or what clients might be doing.
The question on AI, I knew it was coming. Uh, Obviously, a important theme that we see everywhere. And I've seen incredible examples of AI being applied in creative AIs or creative campaigns. I've seen some clients just with very low budget and very short times able to create pretty powerful campaigns, marketing campaigns. And I can also see it being at the forefront of research and really able to collect information. At the moment, we don't see it as a threat,
Okay.
what we do, but we have seen it as somewhat helpful from realizing efficiencies. So
Mhm.
writing executive summaries, when we have a couple of engagements where we had to create case studies to support certain things, and you can use the AI to actually extract from the net a lot of ideas on possible case studies that are relevant to your the question. But then this is version zero, right? That you need to
Right.
manage and you need. So we see AI as something can help us be more efficient
Mhm.
for pass some of those savings to our clients, but not replace the ability to storytell and stitch together different data sources. At least not at the moment.
Got it. Are clients asking, like, I find that a lot of clients are asking partners or vendors or suppliers, like, "What's your AI strategy?" Like, what are you planning to do? Are you getting questions like that, or is the groups that you deal with are not really asking that question?
The groups that I deal with, they do ask the questions, but not to us because they
Ah,
know what we deliver and what we deliver is thinking.
right.
And so far, I consider ourselves lucky that we're sitting in a place that is not so fungible,
Yeah.
so easily replaceable by AI, because
Mm,
it really requires a lot of good listening, working with oftentimes multiple um, markets, different stakeholders, and going across different data points. So they don't look for that in our services.
Lucky for you. No, I'm just joking. Well, I also think, I would imagine a lot of the clients that you work with over time, and so you yourself build a repository of knowledge that is long-standing, so and can be applied to any other future engagements with that same client, right? So you're building your own knowledge base, which is hard to be replaced by AI.
That and also what you said also applies to one of the reasons why we have so much repeat business because we build skills and competencies and knowledge of our clients that
Right.
with us, with us, especially today's with restructuring that happens in corporate America every 2 3 years, so much knowledge gets
Mhm.
lost. We stay, and so we
That's
can
so
kind of
true.
a continuity for them.
So, obviously, you're clearly a practitioner of analytics and knowledge, but you're also the CEO of the company, and I know you have partners. I'm curious from your perspective, you being at the, head of the ship, what keeps you up at night, as it relates to taking your business forward?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. You said we have partners, and they nowadays are really taking on most of the communications with our clients and get the repeat business. I'm more focused on the overall company strategy and new business development. And these people are incredibly skilled, and
Mm,
they've chosen me. They've chosen to partner with me.
nice.
And what keeps me up at night is, am I good enough for them?
Mm,
And will they stick with me for the long term?
yeah,
And we're all humans. We all know that we have our limitations. And I always question myself, am I the leader that I need to be for this company, especially as this company continue to evolve?
right.
And do I evolve with the company and
Yes.
continue to be the right leader?
That's a incredible answer. I think that is it's you're in service to your partners in some ways, right? To ensure who are in service and you're in service to your clients, but are you doing what you need to be doing to continue to evolve? Are you do you actively put time on the calendar? Like, do you do things to kind of foster that continued growth?
I won't say I'm that good at putting things on calendar. That's what I'm average. What we do is we have in the company a very thorough performance review system. I'm under review.
Nice.
And so I have my mid-year, my end of the year, my partners are we have a good culture of
Yeah.
candid and transparent and receiving feedback from them as well as for the overall company. We do that once a year, the overall company feedback. And then I task myself with reporting back on what I've heard,
Yeah.
how that informs my priorities for the next year,
Yep.
and then make an effort to go back at the end of the year and see how have I done against those priorities.
That's fascinating. I think it's great that you can be that vulnerable and share and be because we all need feedback. Sometimes it's harder to hear certain types of feedback, but if there's trust and everybody is aligned to a common goal, and that is to continue to evolve, it works. It sounds like it's working for you as well.
You define our culture.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Victorio, I'm so glad you joined me today. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I look forward to keeping in touch.
Sima, it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for
Thank you.
having